Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to talk about run and gun, the cause spread awareness topic that I made back then. And this video will basically cover three main things. Number one, how to identify if I have this problem. Number two, how to fix this problem. And number three, potential causes. I mean, at this point I'm just speculating. We have never found the actual culprit, and by we I mean me and the developer that worked on this. So yeah. Number one, how can I identify if I have this issue? A lot of people already did this step. For those who are not entirely sure yet, here's how you do it, or how you notice it. So what happens when you're having this issue is that your game is actually running slower than all the others on the server, or rather those who are not affected by this. And because of that, your game seems not only less smooth, but you will be constantly suffering from extreme Ferrari peaks, rubber banding, which is very, very noticeable in deathmatch, and just weird situations in general. And because of the constant desyncing, because the server has to somehow, figure out what the hell you're doing, because your client runs slower, the players will see you before you see them, and sometimes you will die on positions that you didn't really die on your own screen. This happens a lot in deathmatch, as I said. This is something which is extremely, it's insanely noticeable. Now, in order to actually test this, all you have to do is just run your main account and run another account. Now, there might be a lot of you that just might be deluded and think, oh, we're suffering from this. Looking for tiny details, between accounts, and then somehow figuring out, hey, that has to be the cause. For everyone who has this thing, has this bug right now, can tell you without a doubt, you don't need diagnostic tools, you don't need to nitpick, it's that obvious. It's as if you're comparing a game running at 40 FPS to a game running at 200 frames. It's that fucking obvious. You can instantly tell. So if you cannot instantly tell that your main account runs completely different, you're definitely running slower and more quote-unquote laggy, then you're not suffering from this problem. End of story. However, if you can instantly tell, the difference is that major, you're definitely suffering from this. Alright, so the question will be how to fix this. Well, luckily the Riot developers have fixed this in one update from their side. All you have to do is fix it from your side. So what you're going to do is go into the search bar, you write here %appdata% and press enter. Once you're in here, you go one back to the app data because it will automatically put you in roaming. And here you want to go on local. And then you press V for Valorant so you can get there faster. And you go into the Valorant folder. You see this saved folder, config, and you will see some a crash report, desktop file, Windows, and some UUIDs, which are basically your account settings. Now, what's important here is you figure out which one is your main account. You usually do that by going to the Windows settings, right user settings, and it'll basically tell you the crosshair name, crosshair profile name, which is usually your username or your custom name that you put in anyways. Once you've figured out which one of these is your main account, what you then can do is you can do _old or just completely delete it. This will force the server to generate a new account for you, giving you the data, and then basically what's going to happen here is that you're going to get a new account, a new profile generated. The only thing it doesn't save is your graphics settings, but anything else such as map, sensitivity, and whatnot should be saved. This will fix your issue. Now, my assumption here is that for whatever reason, by having values that are not used anymore or just not entirely in sync, will cause not entirely in sync with the Riot server, will cause something to spasm. I do not know if it's Vanguard or if it's actual Valorant or if it's the Riot client or whatever the hell it is, but there's something that does not like the fact that your configuration is not in sync with whatever the hell Riot has. So if you have any kind of setting there, there has to be some constant check or something going on that causes this weird thing to happen. And for whatever reason, when you switch around the buffering, it somehow breaks the check or whatever the hell it is. It is only my theory at this point. I do not know if that is the actual explanation for this. I do not know if the developers even know if that's the explanation for this. But if you actually delete those, then and let Riot generate new config, it will work. And I'm telling you, it has to generate the config. You cannot put your Smurf account settings into the main account because the issue will still persist. You have to delete it. It's very important that you delete or rename the folder so that the Riot client thinks it's deleted or whatever, right? It needs to generate those configs. Otherwise, it will not work. At least not from my testing. So there you have it. This is basically the issue in a nutshell. This is how you fix it. And yeah, I hope you learned something, and you gotta grind up again on your main account. I mean, you gotta use those skins. So enjoy yourselves.